Mortified. That's how I felt the first time I was told to give a presentation in front of 20 people in my early 20s. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Some scale Mount Everest. Some participate in Naked and Afraid. I became an IT professional. You know, we take granted some of our IT roots, and technology has come a long way. One of the things I learned in my college days was that back in 1946, the first general electronic computer was called ENIAC. That's when it was invented. And it cost $487,000. It weighed 27 tons and had 17,486 tubes. It filled a room 4 times the size of this room. The combination of speed and programmability allowed for thousands more calculations for problems, as ENIAC calculated a trajectory that took a human 20 hours, and it only took 30 seconds for it to calculate. The power requirement led to the rumor that whenever the computer was turned on, lights in Philadelphia dimmed. And it actually did the first time around. So the ENIAC could perform 5,000 instructions per second. Now, some people had great foresight in 1949, because in 1949, Popular Mechanics had a ad that said, one day a computer may weigh less than 2 tons. So anyway, I may be aging myself, but when I first started writing programs, we did it on these little cards. Everybody knows what that is, right? So I was teaching my son, I was saying, this is what we used to write programs on, and each character on here represents a byte. And I went through explaining about bits and binary and that kind of thing. And I said, do you understand? And he holds up this thing that he's eating, and he said, yeah, this one here, that's about 10 bytes. So I thought he understood. So my career led me on many adventures. Remember the 5 1/4 floppy disk? Well, I worked for a company that used to put demos on these disks, and they'd send it out with instructions on how to run the demo. And I worked with the sales guy to put that together for him. And one day I'm working away programming, and he comes running over and he says, can you help me with a prospect? And I said, sure. And so we were walking down to his desk, down to his office, and I said, what's the problem? And he said, she can't run the program. And I said, I don't understand. It's really simple. You put the floppy in, you type the command, it zips, it asks for the second one, you put it in, and so forth and so on. And he said, yeah, I don't know. He said, I need some help here. So I go in there and I sit down, and he introduces me, and I said, hi, Diane. And he said, this is Mario. He's our super programmer, and that's how I got the name Super Mario. So I said, what seems to be the problem? She said, the program just doesn't run. And I said, did you follow the instructions? And she said, yeah. And I said, well, why don't you read them off to me? So she read the thing off. Step 1, put the disk in. Step 2, type the name that we had on there. And step 3, follow the commands. And I said, great. I said, okay, so what did you do? And she said, well, I followed all the instructions, but it doesn't work. And a lot of people always say, it doesn't work. It's a common phrase. It doesn't, well, what's wrong? You know? So I didn't want to do that to a prospect. So what I did was I said, okay, let's start at the beginning. Do you have the disk in the slot? She said, yes. And I said, okay, type the command. What does it say? It says insert disk. I said, but you have it in there. And she said, I got it in as far as I can get it. And I said, okay, I said, take it out. Take the disk out. So this long pause. About 10 or 15 seconds goes by. And I said, are you still there? And she said, yeah. And I said, what's the problem? And she said, I can't get the disk out. And I said, well, I said, just open the little lever and pull the disc out. And she said, well, it's stuck in between the other two discs. We ended up sending her a new set of discs, and she was able to run it. She understood that she was supposed to only stick one disc at a time, not all three at the same time. So, my mother said to me when I first started, she said that someday someone will come and take something that I own. And I was kind of scratching my head because I was telling her I'm going to school, I'm going to take programming, and I'm going to get this computer degree. So she said, do I know what that's called? And I said, that's stealing. And she said, no, that's income tax. Madam Toastmaster.